Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Jake Force. Winter is far from over and more snow is on the way. The city of Rhinelander is reminding residents of their responsibility when it comes to winter sidewalk maintenance. Our own Lily Alstein joins us in studio with more. Lily?
That's right, Jake. When the snow stops falling, the clock starts ticking for Rhinelander homeowners. A city ordinance requires sidewalks to be cleared within 24 hours, a rule meant to keep everyone safe.
They shouldn't be expected to be trudging through a foot of snow on a sidewalk because a homeowner doesn't want to deal with it.
In the city of Rhinelander, property owners must shovel their sidewalks within 24 hours after the end of the latest snowfall. But street foreman Justin Ernst says that doesn't always happen, leaving sidewalks buried under the snow.
It is difficult. We have elderly people, we have, women with children, or they have a work schedule that just is conflicting with the snow events. So we do take that into account.
While the city does offer leniency, Ernst emphasizes the importance of clear sidewalks for pedestrians.
There's a lot of people that walk their pets or they personally walk to stay in shape. And it's very hard when they encounter a sidewalk that's got 2 feet of snow on it and the homeowner's not dealing with it. They walk into the roadway and if they get hit, I would feel terrible if I was that property owner.
When the snow on your sidewalk becomes excessive, a city employee will place a notice on your door. If it isn't cleaned up, the city will remove the snow at a cost.
The property owner, it'll go on the tax roll for that year, that calendar year. So when their taxes are due, it's in addition to what the city charges for taxes for that property.
It's one rule with no exceptions.
Everybody has the same job to do, was clearing their sidewalks. Nobody's different. No matter where you live, everybody's required to do it.
Reporting in Rhinelander, Lily Alstein, Newswatch 12.
All right, Lily, thanks. And up next, today, of course, honors the life of the most iconic civil rights leader in American history. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. would have turned 97 years old last Thursday. Born in 1929, King's involvement with the civil rights movement dates back to the 1950s. He led the Montgomery bus boycott in 1955 after Rosa Parks famously refused to give up her seat to a white passenger. King quickly became the face of the growing movement. He was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 1964, the same year the Civil Rights Act was passed. King also spoke out against the Vietnam War in 1967 and was assassinated in Memphis, Tennessee, the following year. The Wausau Cyclones held their 4th annual Corgi races on Saturday night at the Marathon Park during the first and second intermissions of the game. The races, held in front of a sold-out crowd, featured just shy of 40 Corgis from across Wisconsin, Minnesota, Illinois, and even some from Florida. The event raised funds for the Marathon County Humane Society. The amount will be announced later this week. With excited fans and players looking on, Stinky claimed the championship, Scout took 2nd place, and Jameson came in 3rd place. Tonight, a youth mentorship nonprofit in Tomahawk is opening its doors to the public to let the community in on how they've been using their new space. Our reporter Derek Tritz joins us live in studio with the details. Derek?
That's right, Jake. Kinship of Tomahawk is holding a grand opening from 5 to 8 p.m. to celebrate and show off their renovations since moving in.
There's no school today. We thought it would be a great day to plan a celebration to thank the community for their support and let them come in and see all the remodeling that's been done.
The Kinship's old building was roughly the size of just the main room in the new building.
We had a living room and you put 15 kids in there, it was really tight. And now they've got space to run around and play, and they can pull out some of the toys and things that they weren't able to play with at the old building because we ran out of space.
They've used the space to take care of more kids and expand what they can offer to those kids.
We've got a kitchen and a craft room, and we have this area, so we're able to take the number of kids and split them out and have different activities going on at the same time.
Kinship of Tomahawk moved into this building last fall and since then has renovated the majority of the interior, ready for kids to use. There are also outdoor renovations planned for when things warm up a bit, including a green space for the kids.
They'll have a raised garden bed and hopefully a batting cage and some basketball hoops, an area where they can go and sit and play, and a sandbox. Some of the things we had at the old place, but in a bigger space.
Either way, Kinship of Tomahawk wanted to take an opportunity to show the community what they've done so far and how they'll continue their work far into the future.
We've been going for 30 years. We started in 1997 and hopefully 30 years from now, this will still be a wonderful building and a great resource to the youth in our community.
The grand opening is open to anyone 5 to 8 p.m. in the new Kinship of Tomahawk building with tours, light snacks, and other refreshments. Reporting in Tomahawk, Derek Tritz, Newswatch 12.
All right, Derek, thanks. And up next, for many of us, the harsh cold of the Northwoods keeps us from getting out, which can affect how we feel. NAMI Northern Lakes says 41% of us sleep more in the winter. More than 20% of people report being depressed, moody, and tired, with many losing interest in the activities they typically enjoy. And more people eat more sweets and drink more alcohol, and 14% of people aren't sleeping well. While many of us feel the blues during the winter, there's a select few that are more affected.
Only about 5% of people are dealing with seasonal affective disorder. And that can be fairly serious, because all the symptoms that I described there of the winter blahs, as you could call them, they're all like depression.
And Fiocchi says the upper Midwest has more trouble with seasonal affective disorder. Some of the ways people can combat the feeling of sadness during the cold include socializing more, talking to a therapist, and getting outside.
If you can't get outside in the sunshine, I mean, you know, we live in the Northwoods, right? You got a big coat, you got big boots, get out in it. Even if you're just like, if you're living in town, just walk down a block or two in the sunlight. It's very helpful.
And if you can't get outside, Fiocchi says you can also get a seasonal disorder light that can mimic the natural light from outside. If you or someone you know needs help, call or text the National Suicide and Crisis Helpline at 988. A correction facility in Rockwell City, Iowa has partnered with local animal shelters to help free up space in a unique way. Reporter Connor Trett has more.
Meet Kira. This husky Australian Shepherd mix is one of about 10 dogs in training at the North Central Correctional Facility in Rockwell City, Iowa.
High five. Good girl.
The correctional facility has partnered with local animal shelters to help free up space and allow those incarcerated the chance to take care of and train the dogs.
It's been a lot going on a while for our shelters around here to be very, very, very packed. So a lot of times we are at her overflow. We have actually had in the past also where we have helped other pounds or other shelters around the area too.
Sit.
Once they're here with the handler, they spend all the time with them. They sleep in the cell with them. These guys take them for walks. It is their basic primary responsibility is that dog.
The dogs go through 4 to 6 weeks of training here at North Central, and once they graduate from the program, they're available for adoption through the Calhoun County Canine Shelter.
So the first week is sitting, making sure that they know their name. After that, it's leash training. Week 3 is going to be your stay command. Week 4 is just reinforcing all weeks 1 through 3 and making sure that they are consistently listening to the commands.
And while they're learning house training,
sit.
These dogs can teach their handlers life lessons.
When I was in the world as a civilian, I think that I took a lot for granted. And even though I felt like I was doing everything right, there's a lot of things that I realized that the dog program has showed me that there's a lot of things that I need to focus on as responsibility, mainly, and taking care of a life. And I hope, you know, at the end of this year when I'm released, I can, you know, take this knowledge and, you know, pass it on.
And up next, the Northwoods Unitarian Universalist Fellowship celebrated Dr. Martin Luther King this weekend by screening a film. The Interfaith Association believes in the value of all people and the importance of justice, acceptance, and the democratic process.
We really respect the inherent dignity of each and every person, and that definitely overlaps with the mission in his life.
The film Mission Joy is about the joyful friendship between Desmond Tutu and the Dalai Lama. The late Archbishop Tutu was known as a champion in the nonviolent struggle to end apartheid in South Africa. The 14th Dalai Lama, exiled from his native country, is the spiritual leader of Tibetan Buddhism.
They come from such different dogmatic backgrounds, if you will, and yet they have such respect for each other, and they look for the ways that they do intersect and just both of them express such inherent valuing of the human being.
Members of the fellowship held their annual vigil for Dr. King and read aloud a few of his quotes.
Okay, the extreme temperatures are here. Lows last night down near 8 below zero. Tonight, though, down near 14 degrees below zero. And it doesn't get much warmer for the rest of the week. Here, lows today, 9 below zero in Tomahawk, 8 below in Wausau. So a cold start today with highs pretty much today near zero. Currently, we're at 4 below in Rhinelander, 1 below in Merrill, 3 in Wapaka. This is not normal. The average high temperature near 22, 23. Nobody doing that today, nor for a while here going forward. It's also windy, or at least breezy out there. The west wind gusting near 30 today, making air temperatures feel a lot colder across the area tonight into tomorrow as well. We're going to keep things breezy tonight and tomorrow, followed by a break in the action tomorrow before some more wind gets in here late Wednesday into Thursday. So feel like temperatures are approaching 30 degrees below zero again tonight into tomorrow morning. It's going to pull back just a bit tomorrow. It's going to be a bit warmer across our region on Wednesday afternoon. So here's the Weather Service saying, hey, it's cold out there. This is really a cold weather advisory for feel like temperatures approaching 30 degrees below zero tonight into tomorrow morning once again. Okay, we're not the only ones too. Parts of Minnesota, Dakota's in here, and the really cold stuff is right there. This is going to make a swing for us, so most likely on Friday and Saturday. The really cold stuff, really cold stuff gets here then. So tomorrow 4, 14 for us on Wednesday, 2 for Thursday. Look at the high Friday, 10 below, 5 below on Saturday. These are high temperatures and a bit warmer for Sunday and Monday. So long duration cold weather event here. So our snowpack is safe for a while, 1.5 feet here in Rhinelander, much more as you go north. And we're going to add a bit to that, most likely to Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. Lots of partly cloudy skies across our region now. Lake effect is far north this evening. Behind that, though, is a little system over here to the west of us could bring us a little bit of light snow later on Wednesday morning. It will not be a big deal. Maybe a ½ or inch of snow early on Wednesday. So our forecast then for tonight, though, is partly cloudy skies, breezy and cold. Actual air temperatures down near 14 below, but feel like temperatures approaching 30 degrees below zero tonight with that gusty northwest wind. For tomorrow, partly cloudy, breezy and cold once again with high temperatures near 4, so warmer than today, right? With that west wind gusting near 20, making it feel colder. Then looking ahead here, 7-day forecast shows tomorrow 4, Wednesday, some light snow early, maybe an inch or less Wednesday morning. Thursday 2, Friday, more cold air gets in here, 10 below for a high, 25 below for an actual low temperature on Friday night. Jake?
All right, Jeff Weller, thanks so much. Tensions remain high in Minneapolis after a weekend of demonstrations about the ongoing ICE operations in the city. The White House has reportedly ordered hundreds of active duty troops to be ready to deploy to Minnesota if the president decides to invoke the Insurrection Act. NBC's Maggie Vespa is in Minneapolis with the latest.
Hey there, as clashes over ongoing immigration raids mount here in Minneapolis, it appears the Trump administration is potentially preparing to take historic steps, with 2 defense officials confirming to NBC News the Pentagon has placed 2 battalions of the 11th Airborne Division, some 1,500 active duty troops, on prepare to deploy orders. This after President Trump publicly weighed invoking the Insurrection Act here in Minneapolis. Those officials adding they have no further indication beyond those comments that the president will do so, calling the orders, quote, prudent planning. This follows violent clashes over the weekend, including dueling rallies Saturday with conservative activists leading a pro-ICE demonstration, and then yesterday on Sunday, protesters interrupting a service at a local church where they say an ICE employee serves as a pastor. The Justice Department now says it's looking into that incident. Meanwhile, Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey under growing pressure with the DOJ investigating whether he and Minnesota Governor Tim Walz have been impeding immigration enforcement, according to a senior law enforcement official and a person familiar with the matter. Frey saying, quote, this is stuff that happens in other countries, shouldn't happen in America. Governor Walz posting the only person not being investigated for the shooting of Renee Good is the federal agent who shot her. And indeed, when asked whether the DOJ is investigating that shooting earlier this month of the Minneapolis mother, the Deputy Attorney General saying no, adding, quote, we don't just go out and investigate every time an officer is forced to defend himself. Back to you.
Right, Maggie Vespa, thanks. And moving on, at least 9 people were hurt in a pileup involving more than 100 cars and several semi-trucks on a Michigan interstate today. It happened just before 10:30 a.m. on Interstate 196 in Zeeland Township near Grand Rapids. There were apparently whiteout conditions right before the pileup occurred. The accident prompted the closure of the interstate in both directions between 2 exits, while authorities worked to clear the wreckage. An NFL team facility made to train football players is also being used to help curlers from Team USA. Alicia Lewis takes us behind the U.S. training house in Minnesota.
When you think of a curler,
beer drinking, there's the dad jokes that come along with curlers.
You used to be able to smoke on the ice, drink on the ice. There were benches halfway down.
There are images from the 1970s World Championship where you have players who have cigarettes in their mouths.
the stereotype of a curler has significantly changed, especially when it comes to their athleticism. For centuries, curlers have been throwing heavy objects down a sheet of ice. Today, they are lifting them.
We have about 22 to 25 athletes in the Twin Cities that train here with us.
Here at the training house, a training facility for elite athletes and home of the Minnesota Vikings.
Hey, come back with a glute.
Yes, football players and now Olympic curlers.
I'll be next to me and, about to grab like a 40-pound dumbbell and they come and grab a 100-pound and I'm like, maybe I'll go up a little bit and grab a 50 or something. So I guess it helps, makes me push myself a little bit more.
They're giant. They're just, you just want to get out of their way so you don't get run over.
Whether you're tossing a pigskin or throwing a stone, elite athleticism comes in all shapes and sizes.
The better we are in shape, the stronger we are, the better we can perform on the ice and within the sport.
After U.S. curling won its first Olympic gold in 2018, the sport was thrown into the spotlight, putting Minnesota curlers on the map.
The partnership with the NFL, the Vikings, and the team that we have here at TCO has been fantastic.
Minnesota is definitely the place to be. Midwest is the place to be for curling. For athletes who are just trying to push to the next level, there's just resources out here and, it's just unmatched anywhere else.
And that's a great story to bring us into Will Haraldson now with sports. Will, a close one for the Bucks today, but they pull it out by just a basket.
No, you're right, Jake. The Milwaukee Bucks were back on the hardwood this Monday afternoon, taking on the Atlanta Hawks in an important Eastern Conference matchup. If the season did end today, Milwaukee would be on the outside looking in on the play-in tournament, while Atlanta currently holds that final playoff spot. Well, this was an important game that head coach Doc Rivers and company needed to win, and win it they did as Milwaukee took down the Hawks 112-110. Giannis proved why once again he is an all-star game starter as he went off for 21 points, 17 rebounds, and 6 assists. It was a great game for the Bucks, starting 5 as every starter scored in double figures. With the win, Milwaukee improves to 18-24 on the year and finds themselves just a half game out of the final play-in tournament spot. And the next matchup will be on Wednesday when they host the Oklahoma City Thunder. And let's stick with basketball, but move down to the college level as the Wisconsin Badgers are starting to hit their stride. After an 89-73 home loss to the Purdue Boilermakers, the Badgers have since rattled off 4 straight wins and find themselves right in the thick of the NCAA tournament conversation. The offense has been the major key to success for the Badgers in this 4-game winning streak as Wisconsin is averaging around 86 points per game in this stretch. Wisconsin has been led by their star guard tandem of John Blackwell and Nick Boyd. The two have been on an absolute tear over this win streak, with Blackwell averaging around 22 points per game and Boyd averaging around 21. Wisconsin now sits at 13-5 overall and 5-2 in Big Ten Conference play. Look to extend their winning streak this week when they go on the road this Thursday evening to take on Penn State before they return home to host USC on Sunday. And guys, we have some breaking news as of late, actually. Packers defensive coordinator Jeff Hafley is heading down to Miami to be the next head coach of the Dolphins. We'll have more on that later tonight.
And I'm very interested in that as a Patriots fan in the AFC East. The Dolphins going to be revamping stuff. That looks very interesting. Folks, we know this is not how we usually engage with you on a weeknight, but we will see you at 10 p.m. Of course, the NBA had their time on NBC for MLK Day today, so that's why we did not have our shows, but we will see you tonight on Newswatch 12 at 10. We hope to see you there.